I'm Laura Bonnell, and this is the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast coming to you from Detroit. Please subscribe and even rate and comment on our podcasts when it moves you. I learn something new with every podcast, and I'm always inspired by the people that are showcased here. We don't give medical advice. You need to connect with your doctor for that. I hope that this Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast educates you and sparks some volunteering or advocacy. The CF community needs people like you. Thanks to our sponsor, Viatris, for their support. It is a good day when you talk to someone with cystic fibrosis born in the 1970s, and that is Jennifer McKinnon. From her earliest days, she says that she understood what it meant to fight for every breath. Hospital stays, endless medications, and hours of daily treatments to become routine. But she says she did grit, hope, and an unshakable determination to keep moving forward, which she has. Everything changed, however, in 2019 when she started the CF modulator drug, Trikafta. This dramatically improved her lung function, as it has for so many people. And for the first time in decades, she says that she could take a deeper breath, both literally and in the way that she approached life. Again, as so many can relate to this. Her journey was never just about survival. She raised more than $1 million for CF research, and she's going to talk about that. She's also a mother of twins with the help of her sister, and she's used her voice to educate, inspire, and advocate for others living with chronic illness. So today she's a single mom, she's a passionate storyteller, and the force behind Just One More Breath. Jennifer continues to show that while life with CF is unpredictable, it can also be full of strength, beauty, and purpose. Jennifer, it's great to have you on the podcast. I'm so excited to share your story with everyone. And we are going to get to the beginning of your CF story, but tell us how you're doing today, how your health journey is.
Today it's doing well. I'm doing well. I've been on Trikafta for the past 5 or so years, and I actually just switched over to a drug called Alyftrek, which was just approved back in the spring. And the main difference between Alyftrek and Trikafta is it's only once a day, which is great. But I think those with CF kind of realize that we take a ton of pills anyway. So knocking it down to once a day is a big deal, but it's not really that big of a deal. But I think Alyftrek has changed a little bit and has helped. I have to, kind of take a step back too, because I'm 46 years old with my original lungs with CF that are very damaged and scarred and have been through a lot. So I don't get the full impact that those that are younger with CF did with Trikafta and Alyftrek. I still got that little bump and it still helped tremendously, but I'm also still dealing with older lungs, that have been around the block a couple times and scarred and damaged and, but I'm very, very thankful for these modulators. They have definitely changed my life a lot.
Right. And it's not a cure, but Alyftrek, which, as you said, is one pill, also helps 31 more mutations. And it also improves the sweat chloride, which doesn't necessarily do anything in regard to your health. I think they're still figuring that out. But progress is progress. As more drugs keep coming out, it's great because it will help more and more people. Tell us about your diagnosis and how you found out that you had CF.
Sure. I was born in April of 1979. And then a few weeks later, I was diagnosed with failure to thrive. And then a few weeks later, in May of 79, I was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. My parents were very familiar with the disease. I was the third person in my extended family that was diagnosed with CF. So I think as my mom, as like a mom instinct, she knew something was wrong right away. Maybe not necessarily CF, but she knew something was wrong. So I got my diagnosis in May of 1979. And from there, our fight and our battle started, and been fighting ever since. There's been a lot of changes over the past, 46 years of my life. When I was first born, there wasn't a lot of medication. There was maybe some enzymes and some different antibiotics. And then throughout my lifetime, there's the vest that came out and all these nebulizers and Pulmozyme and tobramycin, all of these different medications that have helped tremendously. And then, like you said, Trikafta came out in 2019, and then which changed a lot of my life. And then, started a lift track, about 4 months ago, which has been great.
Right. I mean, when you were about 9 or 10, that's when the Human Genome Project came around and they
Yeah.
discovered all the genes that cause CF. So, like,
Yes.
that must have been a very exciting time for your parents, even though it took, like Dr. Francis Collins will say, like a decade or so longer to even
Yeah.
make it actually help with these modulators, because it just took longer than they expected. But I mean, here we are with, I think, geez, we're on our fifth modulator, CF modulator. So that's incredible. And you talk about when you realized what CF meant to your life, and how did you react to when you really understood everything that it entailed?
I think growing up, my parents did a fantastic job of not, I have an older brother and I have an older sister as well, and they did a fantastic job of not saying, "Oh, you can't do that because you have CF." They're like, "Get out there and do it. Go play soccer, go play lacrosse, go swim, do everything that your brothers and sisters are doing." And there was never a moment of, that I felt different, or that, I might have looked a little bit different. I was tiny, I was skinny, I was, that kind of stuff. But I think it wasn't until I was older, till teenage years, that I was like, oh gosh, like when I could do my own investigating and my own research on CF and exactly what it does and what my future may or may not look like. And I think that was a pivotal point in my life where I'm like, oh gosh, I really need to really do the meds that I'm supposed to be doing and the breathing machines that I'm supposed to be doing. And if I want to you know, have a life and grow up and go to college and have children and have a family and all of this stuff, I really need to focus on what's important right now. And what that was my health. And then also right after college is when I realized too, um, that this is serious. This is a very serious disease. And I kind of took my own steps into um, just kind of realizing like this is what needs to be done if I really want to live the next 5, 10, you know, 20 years. Because when I was first born back in, April of 79, they did tell my parents like she'd only live to be 2 or 3. Like take her home, give her a good life, all of these things. We don't have any medicines, we don't have much to give her. And this is what we know about the disease. So I'm incredibly thankful for my parents that were like, okay, watch us. Like she's gonna grow up and she's gonna do all of these different things and exceed all her goals and do all of these things. So it's been a rough road, but it's a road and it's a journey that I've learned a lot from. And I'm happy to, and I'm thankful for you who people like that do podcasts that are getting these stories out of older generation with CF that are, you know, doing all of these wonderful things, because I think it gives hope to the younger generation or the newly diagnosed or the new mom that was just diagnosed with CF, saying, okay, well, if she's doing this or she was able to do all this with not a lot of drugs and not a lot of these things, and I have my daughter or my son here that can get on this modulator pretty soon. I think it's just a way of giving back as well. Growing up, I didn't know a lot of people with CF, and there wasn't social media and all this other stuff. So to be able to connect through podcasts and social media and different platforms has been awesome. I've been meeting people all over the world with CF, comparing stories and that kind of stuff. So it's been great to get my story out there and to listen to other people's stories and learn from them. And so it's been good.
And I'm going to get back to your twins in a minute, but I wanted to ask you, so extended family, was this cousins that had CF that,
It was some cousins and some second and third cousins. Yeah.
so
So
did you learn from each other? Were you able to hang out together, or how did you handle all of that?
no, unfortunately, they passed away before I was born. Um, so I didn't meet them. I didn't know them. I mean, my parents knew them and kind of knew what CF does to a family and what it does to a child. Um, and I think that's also what kind of put another fight into them to win this battle. To win this, I mean, and we're still going, right? We're still fighting this battle.
Right.
And I think it kind of sparked a little something in them. My dad kind of went into the fundraising, and he's been fundraising for, 46 years, literally starting out knocking on people's doors, asking for money, to sports challenges, to any kind of type of events. And then I kind of took over when in my 20s, and my sister and I do all these kinds of different events, raised, well over $1 million for CF. And I think my mom kind of took the side of like, I'm going to find the right doctors for her, the right medications, and all this kind of stuff. So all together, it was definitely a team effort, and we're still fighting.
That is wonderful. And so tell us about your kids and
Okay.
how they're doing.
They're doing great. I could talk forever about my kids. I'm a very proud mom, but I have 14-year-old twin girls. They start freshman year of high school in next week. But they were born through gestational carrier. So unfortunately, I tried to have my own children and ended up in different miscarriages and just different kind of speed bumps along the way. And finally, my CF doctor was like, you can't do this anymore. Like it's affecting your CF, it's affecting your mental, it's affecting all of these different things. But we did have some embryos left over from some IVF that we did. And he said, if you can find someone that can carry them for you, I think that's your best bet. So I did what any person would do. I called my sister, and she has three beautiful kids, four now, but three beautiful kids at the time. And I asked her if she would carry our babies for us, and she said, absolutely. So we ended up with twin girls, which is the best thing ever. And they're doing great. We got them tested for CF right after they were born. Actually, they went through the newborn screening. They were negative. And then just to confirm, I had them do sweat tests when they were young, just a couple months old, and that they were negative as well for that. So, yeah, they're thriving. They know all about mom's meds and mom's health. And I just actually did a round of IV therapy a couple of weeks ago. And it was a 2-week therapy. I do it all from home. And it's funny to see their different personalities. And one was like changing my tubing on my PICC line and doing all of this stuff. One was like organizing my medicine and what I need to order and all this other stuff. So they're the best little nurses around, and they understand that mom's health comes first. And they are just the best two kids out there.
That is fantastic, and that they're involved in it. And you think about 14 years ago, just I feel like that was kind of when doctors were figuring out how women could stay healthy and have babies, because I know my girls just got the conversation of, oh yeah, you can stay on your modulators and be pregnant. So it's different than just 14 years ago when you had to make a decision on how to bring your kids into the world.
Yeah. And I also think it's also, my doctor made a good point. He's like, it's not just the pregnant, like I said, it was 14, 15 years ago. It wasn't just the pregnancy that they were worried about. It's also the newborn stage. I mean, and any mom would know, like the newborn stage, CF or not, it's tough. And then I had two of them. Fortunately, I have, a great support system, and my mom helped and my sister, everybody helped, but it's a tough spot those first couple of months after, that newborn stage is a lot. And then,
Right.
like I said, had two, and, but, that's also when I was like, well, I got to find time for my meds. I got to, it was a rough time, but we all made it through, and everyone's thriving. So it's good.
I did say in the introduction that you're a single mom and you have that challenge, which so many people can relate to.
Mhm.
How are you doing being a single mom, having cystic fibrosis, and just trying to have to do the normal things that, parents or a single mother does with their kids?
It's a lot. It's a lot. I have a good, like I said, I have a good village around me that helps. But at the end of the day, it's me who's in charge of everything else, right? We're making sure everything else gets done and everything is good with the girls, and then with my job, and then with my, just one more breath that I just started, and with different other, side gigs and companies that I have. And it's tough. It's tough. But I'm also feel like I'm showing my girls that it can be done. No matter what life throws at you, whether it's CF or single mom or any kind of, speed bump that you hit, you can achieve big things. Just keep trying and just, like my saying is like just one more breath. Just keep going.
It is
So
wonderful. And I do want to talk about all the things that you're doing. Do you want to start with just one more breath and tell us, what that program is and what it's all about?
absolutely. I love to talk about it. So I started it back in the spring, right around the time I started a lift track. And I just had this moment of like, I just wanted to give back, right? I feel like I've had this wonderful life, with CF and the different things that I've overcame and things that I've accomplished. And I just wanted to give back to those who were CF or not, but mostly CF people that are concerned about their future. And can they do this or can they do that? And just to show them that it can be done. It's not going to be easy, right? It's not easy at all, but that it can be done. Kind of turning, those negative things into positive things. And, I've been on lots of podcasts, which has been wonderful, and different articles and a couple of different speaking gigs. So I'm excited to get out there and tell my story. I hope that there's other people out there that want to hear it and can learn from it. And if I can help just one person to not give up or to pursue their dreams, it's well worth it.
It's inspiring. That's what you're trying to do with just one more breath.
Absolutely.
You're just trying to inspire and help people understand kind of your journey and hope and I'm sure it does help them, right?
Sure. Yes.
I have watched some videos of you and your friends in the gym. Tell
Yeah.
us about all the wonderful things that you're doing in the gym, because I remember when my girls were born, and the best advice I got was from Bob Wild, who had CF, and he said, make sure they exercise. And at that time, the doctor wasn't emphasizing that, how
Hmm.
important it was. It's more than the vest. It's more than,
Sure.
doing the physical therapy. It's they need to be active. And we literally ran with that advice. They were involved in every sport and a lot of walking, a lot of running, and it's definitely helping them even today. So talk about that, how your relationship with the gym and all the things you've done.
Being active has always been a part of my life. Like I said, growing up playing soccer and lacrosse, and I played 2 years of collegiate lacrosse, and working out was just a huge part of um, my life, not only to stay in shape for CF, but also helps mental, helps all these different things. And I think when I'm in the gym, it's the only thing that matters right then. It's not, the grocery list. It's not the next breathing machine. It's just those 45 minutes to an hour in the gym is where I am and where I'm focused on. And I met a trainer. Her name is Ashley, and she opened up a new gym here in Annapolis, and it's called Maxed Out Fitness. And she has been by my side for, gosh, probably 10 years, helping me explore new things in the gym, lifting heavier weights, encouraging me to do different things. I've done several different like 5Ks, I've done half marathons. So just the gym and having that different village around you and people supporting you. I mean, we do a yearly event there. It's called Deadlifts and Donuts. And we have people come in from all over the state, lifting these crazy weights and having donuts and telling their story. And it's just a great way to, like I said, just get out and do something positive. And so yeah, the gym has saved me along with Trikafta and a lift track and all my breathing machines and all this other stuff. But the gym is definitely a spot where um, it has definitely played a huge part in my life.
And I loved that. I loved watching that video because it reminds me and everyone else who watches it that is such a community disease. These are your friends, these are your family, these are people who care about you or who now have awareness raised about this
Yeah.
disease. And people work out anyway, so they might as well help. Um,
Yeah.
I just thought, and Ashley really gets everybody pumped up, right?
Yes, she does. She's like this little spark plug. I love her. Yeah. And also, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, even just last month when I was in and out of the hospital and doing home IV therapy, like there's days on the couch where I'm like, I need to get up and move. And then there's those days in the gym where I feel great. And I'm like, this is why I'm here. Like, because there's so many people still in the hospital or going through stuff that can't do it. And at this point, I still can. And so I still am going to break barriers and keep going because there's so many people that wish they could, right? And I still have the lung capacity and the energy and the strength to do it. So it's played a big part in my life.
What are you most excited about for the future for CF, and then also maybe touch on some of your biggest challenges, because that's stuff that people can relate to. It's not just, oh, everything's going great. We all have so many challenges too. So give us a little bit of insight on both of those.
I mean, I think the biggest challenges for me that I'm, I say worried about, but thinking about for the future is I even talked to I see Dr. Boyle down at Johns Hopkins, and he is a great friend of mine. And I've talked to him several things of like, all right, what's coming next? Like, when is the other shoe drop? Like, what am I like premenopausal? Like, I mean, I'm at that age, right? Like, what happens with
Right.
CF people then? What happens with menopause? What happens with all of these different things? And I don't know that they have the exact answers because they don't know, and I said is Trikafta going to change things around? Is the lift track changing things around? And so it's also, and I think also a lot of people with CF, they have this mentality of like, we're waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like we're just waiting for something bad to happen because sometimes that's how our life has been, right? We go through these good things and then it's like, wait, stop, you have to do this, you have to do this, or your lung function is dropping, or your weight is dropping, or, you know, I was diagnosed with diabetes back in my 20s, and then that was a whole nother. So I'm just, you're kind of waiting, and not in a negative sense, but just you're waiting for something else to happen. But I think at my age, and I don't know what is coming next, but I'm sure something is, and I'm just trying to prepare myself and, stay in the healthiest that I can, or, I call it like a healthy sick, right? But the healthiest that I can and keep moving. And, like I said, it's just kind of a waiting game um, to see what happens next. Hopefully
Yeah.
it's all positive, but
Right. But I think it's realistic, and that seems to me not to be like you're sitting around worrying. It's just that you're being prepared, and
sure.
you want to plan. And I think that's good. And boy, menopause with no chronic illness
Sure.
is just fun times, is all I can say.
Yeah.
So roll in cystic fibrosis with that. Yeah, there's going to be different challenges, because I know that brain fog is part of, with some people on Trikafta and a lift truck already
Sure.
feel, then you roll in menopause, and I don't know if it multiplies it and makes it even worse, but so there's a lot to think about. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I was talking with doctors, like, you need to like start thinking about this and educate, men and women about what it
Yeah.
means. So there is so much exciting things ahead, because we have to think of people living a long life, which is lovely.
It's just amazing. Yes.
What other programs or thoughts did you want to mention before we wrap up the podcast? You're doing so many things. I feel like we just barely touched the surface on everything that you're involved in.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is, I would love for everyone to, if they can, to follow me on social media and, get in touch with me. I want to hear your story. I want to see I want to compare stories. I want to learn from them. I mean, I feel like you can learn from anybody, right? Any
Right.
age, um, and I'd love to get in touch with any other CF patient or newly diagnosed family, or any way that I can help to kind of tell them, in maybe even more intimate or more detailed story of, kind of what I've went through. Because I mean, I think a lot of time it sounds like, oh, I'm doing great, things are great, but like it took a battle to get to where I am, right? There was a lot of
Right.
fighting. There was a lot of, ups and downs. And there was a lot of conversations that I wish I'd never had to have with my doctors and with my family and with my children. But I think, yeah, just to get in touch, and I'm having different events coming up this fall, and yeah, just to kind of get in touch and build a relationship, and I'm on all the different platforms at Just One More Breath, and I'd love to hear from here.
And your contact information is in show notes. And I also feel like connecting with people is so therapeutic. I connect with other CF moms, dads, grandparents, and we all can connect on everything. We've all been there. The same sort of thing has happened. It's not that there isn't something new, but we're learning from each other constantly, or you can relate like, oh yeah, this happened. This is how we handled it, or the insurance challenges and
Sure.
things like that. So I agree. It's really helpful to talk to other people, or they'll find out something maybe they didn't know, resources, or you've been down this road before. So it is really good to just keep
Sure.
talking with other people. It's been terrific to talk to you, and there's so much more. We'll have to do like maybe another podcast as well with you to shed
Yeah,
some more.
I've got a big goal for the end of the year, so I'd love to check back in with you to tell you all about it.
All
So
right. Well, that's a good tease.
Yeah,
We'll
yes.
do part 2 with Jennifer
I'd love
McKinnon.
to.
How's that?
That sounds wonderful. I'd love to. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
The original music in this podcast is performed by Kevin Allen,
It's not complicated.
who happens to have cystic fibrosis.
We all got our worries and fears. I know it's got you frustrated, but loving you is so alright.
This has been the Living with Cystic Fibrosis podcast. For more information and to learn more about the Bonnell Foundation, visit our website at thebonnellfoundation.org. That's the BONNELL Foundation.org.
This podcast was produced by Jag and Detroit Podcasts. Follow our show on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening right now.